Wednesday the 21st of August, 2024. First reading. Reading from the book of Ezekiel. The word of the Lord was addressed to me as follows: Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, Shepherds, the Lord says this, trouble for the shepherds of Israel who feed themselves. Shepherds ought to feed their flock, yet you have fed on milk. You have dressed yourselves in wool. You have sacrificed the fattest sheep, but failed to feed the flock. You have failed to make weak sheep strong, or to care for the sick ones, or bandage the wounded ones. You have failed to bring back strays or look for the lost. On the contrary, you have ruled them cruelly and violently. For lack of a shepherd they have scattered, to become the prey of any wild animal. They have scattered far. My flock is straying this way and that, on mountains and on high hills. My flock has been scattered all over the country. No one bothers about them and no one looks for them. Well then, shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. As I live, I swear it. It is the Lord who speaks, since my flock has been looted and for lack of a shepherd is now the prey of any wild animal. Since my shepherds have stopped bothering about my flock, since my shepherds feed themselves rather than my flock, in view of all this, shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. The Lord says this: I am going to call the shepherds to account. I am going to take my flock back from them, and I shall not allow them to feed my flock. In this way the shepherds will stop feeding themselves. I shall rescue my sheep from their mouths. They will not prey on them any more. For the Lord says this: I am going to look after my flock myself and keep all of it in view. Responsorial Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Fresh and green are the pastures, where he gives me repose. There restful waters he leads me, to revive my drooping spirit. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. He guides me along the right path. He is true to his name. If I should walk in the valley of darkness, no evil would I fear. You are there with your crook and your staff. With these you give me comfort. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. You have prepared a banquet for me in the sight of my foes. My head you have anointed with oil. My cup is overflowing. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Surely goodness and kindness shall follow me all the days of my life. In the Lord's own house shall I dwell, for ever and ever. The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. Gospel acclamation. Alleluia, alleluia. Let your face shine on your servant, and teach me your decrees. Alleluia. Gospel. Reading from the book of Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner going out at daybreak to hire workers for his vineyard. He made an agreement with the workers for 1 denarius a day, and sent them to his vineyard. Going out at about the 3rd hour, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said to them, You go to my vineyard too, and I will give you a fair wage. So they went. At about the 6th hour, and again at about the 9th hour, he went out and did the same. Then at about the 11th hour he went out and found more men standing round. And he said to them, Why have you been standing here idle all day? Because no one has hired us, they answered. He said to them, You go into my vineyard too. In the evening the owner of the vineyard said to his bailiff, Call the workers and pay them their wages, starting with the last arrivals and ending with the first. So those who were hired at about the 11th hour came forward and received 1 denarius each. When the first came, they expected to get more, but they too received 1 denarius each. They took it, but grumbled at the landowner. The men who came last, they said, have done only 1 hour, and you have treated them the same as us, though we have done a heavy day's work in all the heat. He answered one of them and said, My friend, I am not being unjust to you. Did we not agree on 1 denarius? Take your earnings and go. I choose to pay the last comer as much as I pay you. Have I no right to do what I like with my own? Why be envious because I am generous? Thus the last will be first, and the first last. Gospel of the Lord.